Good evening, Speed Gaming. Hope you're ready for some Rando After Dark here. We've got a couple great teams for you in this spoiler pilot match. Relkin of To Infinity and Pgog, piloted by Will WC, and Flip Heel of Don't Forget to Track Us, piloted by Purdy Wong. I'm Drossi here with Worfjig. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Excited to watch this race between all my friends.
Yeah, it is a good group of guys on this race, I will say that.
Yeah, I'm just excited they made it so deep into the tournament. Can't believe we're already in game 2 of the semifinals here.
Yeah, pretty crazy. I mean, if Pgog wins this, they're in the finals.
Yeah,
It's
that's
as simple as that.
that's a lot of pressure on Don't Forget to Track Us here. But something tells me they're used to it. They've I'm looking at their history. They've lost every opening or entrance game that they've played. So
Well, and these two teams also have a history. Last year, Don't Forget to Track Us swept Pgog out of the playoffs.
yeah, 3-0. I believe the line from Will was at least they can't get 3-0'd again.
That's true. They're not even going to get 2-0'd. As we see different starts from the runners. Their pilots only just got the log, so usually runners plan out what they want to do for the first couple of minutes to give their pilots time to read the log. And Relkin here has gotten some bombs, so it looks like he's going for Saha's Closet. Flip Heel is doing a more standard Sank to Lost Woods route.
Yeah, gonna check that tier 1 tree pull, check the Lost Woods item, hopefully give PRD some time to control F for, oh, that's a nice tier 1 start.
Very nice.
But yeah, control F for those boots, control F for those that Ocarina inactive. And Flip being rewarded. Ooh!
Speaking of, whoa! Okay. Well then, Saha's Closet is a good play.
Yeah, wow, what an opener.
And so is Thieves' Hideout.
You could bet that Flip's gonna follow him right over there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, movement items are things you want to get early. Clearly the boots aren't Sphere 1 or we'd have them by now.
Yeah. So interesting play here. Our tracker Ike here, by the way. Big shout outs to Ike here. Third member of Don't Forget to Track Us. But it looks like we're getting an early red crystal dip in the Eastern Palace. So it looks like this has got to be a required double dip here. What are we gonna
find? Or maybe it is the boots, and that's why we're in here early. I haven't actually had a chance to look at the log myself.
I just pulled it open, but I prefer to leave things, I prefer a little bit of surprise.
Okay, it's funny because Iker said beforehand that he was just going to set both medallion requirements to Bomba so that maybe he'd have to do a bit less clicking. And what do you know, both medallion requirements are actually Bombas.
Another interesting thing is both runners picked up all 3 chests back here. Obviously, we want the glove and we want the flute, but the mushroom is interesting. It could be a situation where, the pilot's job early in these seeds is very hectic, so it's probably just grab everything there. But now we get to sit and think, is there something on that mushroom, and are we going to get a rush to that after we activate this flute?
Yeah, and certainly double dipping Eastern to get the Moon Pearl is kind of,
totally worth.
A given. Like, I'm sure either the Eastern Big or, a bow is in the Dark World, and we need that Moon Pearl anyway.
Yeah, so it looks like they're just retracing each other's steps right now. I think, Pgog is definitely in a better position, given that the flute activation is right there, whereas Flip Heel is going to have another walk to Kakariko. But so far, so good.
Yeah, I wonder if Will just read the log that quickly. And sent Relkin over to Saha, or if Relkin was just like, hey, I got some bombs, I'll do Saha early.
Maybe Will searched for flute before boots, and that was the difference.
Could be.
Although I'm sure there's some people who would say that's sacrilege.
So yeah, as you were saying, our runners are basically at the same point now, but Relkin's a little bit ahead just because of routing.
Yeah, missing a bit of money, but it's easy to get. Although they Relkin did kind of pass up an opportunity to grab some in the Lost Woods. But who knows if money's even required for this seed. Pod is not a crystal, so maybe there's nothing in Pod.
And, ooh, speaking of money...
or maybe there's some right there.
And a shovel and a mire small. I guess one mire small does help you with the routing.
Yeah, it lets you easily get to the left side without having to go steal a key from the right, which takes forever. So, interestingly enough, nobody's dropped into Cackwell yet. That 300 rupees, I'm wondering if that's for a future Zora play. It could be for, like, maybe there is something in the back of in Pod that we're gonna, be dipping for.
Yeah, I mean, it's a green pendant, which means there are potentially, 15 items involved.
Oh, that's right. Key sanity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, we're seeing Flip go back and do Blind's Hut, covering the same tracks that Relkin has.
Both of them taking that heart piece, interestingly. I wonder if they're kind of looking for, an opportune heart refill later in the seed.
Yeah, whenever I pilot, I like to, if there's any scrounge of health I can get, so long as you're not going out of your way for it. And that's just a very convenient piece of heart.
And that is a nice shovel to dig up the first sword with.
Relkin spotting the bunny. Ooh.
So Relkin heading for Agena now.
Is it Agena? Agena?
I mean, in Japanese it's Agena, so I just kind of go off the katakana.
No, that's you know what? That's solid reasoning. I'll take it.
It's dorky, but there are a lot of dorks around here. And there's our Dark World access. Okay.
All right. Well, Dark World access, but what are we doing in the Dark World here? Is it just
also a good question?
Yeah, because you can't beat Swamp at this point. Or sorry, not Swamp. You can't beat Skullwoods at this point. You can't beat Thieves Town without the keys. So it looks like it's going to be more double dipping.
Yeah, I mean, Key Sanity generally requires double dipping.
True. And it definitely keeps these it keeps the spoiler races interesting.
And we have Divergence here as Flip heads to the back of Escape while Relkin's going into Thieves Town.
Okay, I can get behind this. Alright, looks like the tracker's having a little bit of trouble. So we'll just have to pay a little extra attention to what we're... Okay, so we got a small key to desert and half magic. Ooh.
Half magic's nice, especially since we haven't gotten any magic drops yet. And there is the hook shot. So that alone is worth dipping Thieves for.
But it's not all that's here. It's not all that's here, yeah.
And it looks like Flip is now making his way to the castle.
Very interesting route divergence here. And it's a pod small on Relkin's side. So it looks like there will be a trip to pod at some point. And more money. 2 300s picked up by Relkin. So far, really, just the pod key and the hook shot. Which makes me think, hook shot is another good movement item. Oh.
Ooh. So Flip Heel wants to do Thieves all at once, is what I'm getting out of this.
Okay. I like it. Provided that there's nothing in the big chest. Which I'm sure PRD has already sussed out, whether or not that's a thing or not. And I guess that also means that the boots must be sufficiently buried.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the boots in the first 10 minutes of the spoiler seed.
Yeah, automatically GT. It's got to be it. Reroll the seed.
Apologies for that.
But yeah, I can see why Relkin wanted to get those that hook shot. Just like, especially if the boots aren't around, it's just such a great movement item, and it's really a great way to eke out those precious frames that you're going to need in spoiler races. You know what? We didn't even talk about our rooting interest for this. Is that cool? Can we do that?
It's tough. I mean, oh, and there's Relkin's second pod small. Interesting. Oh. I mean, everyone wants a game 3, right?
I certainly want a game 3.
These are two good teams. I mean, everyone at this point in the playoffs is a quality matchup.
Oh yeah, Relkin is a phenomenal spoiler runner.
So of course you want a game 3 just so you can see the teams go at it more.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's so far like part of me wants the game 3 also, because I love the idea of Don't Forget to Track Us having a similar pattern throughout their entire playoffs of losing their entrance but then coming back to win. We got a lamp on Relkin's side from Hype Cave,
which is also our first fire source at all.
Certainly important.
And he pulls the eastern map and red boomerang. Okay.
Boomerang
I guess the red boomerang can be useful for a few things.
It's some utility. Obviously, you already have your stun coverage with the hook shot. And we got a miss flute.
Oof. Well, Relkin's changing his mind?
Interesting. Maybe a
Hera play? He has the hook shot. He could beat Hera.
That's true. It can be there. That's, you know, Fighter Sword Moldomer is never a fun fight. Oh, and there's a sword.
We don't have to worry about that.
There we go. Yeah, Relkin will be able to Hera pot right up to the top, probably using a really nifty bomb trick. But you know, who cares what we think anyway, right?
And Flip taking advantage of the time it takes that bomb to explode to grab another piece of heart. So I think the runners are trying to get a few pieces of heart as safeties along the way.
I mean, you're still at 4 hearts green mail. You gotta. Both of these runners, I'm confident, could finish the game on this equipment.
And there's our third pod key. What?
So, what can we do with all those pod keys, right?
Well, so there's the middle door, then there's the back door, and then maybe like either the boss or Harmless Hellway, or unlikely you'd go to that trouble for Dark Maze, you just hammer yump.
Yeah.
So boss or Harmless Hellway, it seems like. Ooh, all-important bug net there. Don't want to forget that.
Relkin on his way up to Skull Woods.
Without the fire rod.
But it's also a pendant. So, only goodies here.
Oh, yeah.
My guess is maybe a hammer or something. Oh, a bow.
That's a nice thing to have. So, I don't know. Maybe it is the pod boss that we want for something.
It's a very nice place to end your route, too, considering that we don't have any small keys for Swamp. Or for Skull Woods, I'm sorry.
Meanwhile, Flip is giving us our first boss fight of this game. The blind script is still the blind script. You get it down well enough, 4 hearts green mail doesn't matter, and Flip executes it perfectly.
Yeah, well done, Flip. And is rewarded with blue mail. That's pretty nice.
Somehow I think Relkin's not going to miss it. Relkin making for Paradox Cave here.
Interesting. Flip heel opting to flute away now. Ooh, hammer.
And pod key number 4. What are we going to do with 4 pod keys? Do we have to get something out of like Harmless Hellway and Vanilla Big Key Chest?
At what point do we just look at the spoiler and tell everyone? Yeah, I agree. I agree with Chad here. I would have liked to see Flip Heel leave Thieves Town and go straight into Skull Woods and pick up that bow. I am curious about the reasoning behind that.
Yeah, when you're right there anyway. And this is clearly the pod play for Relkin. With 4 small keys. Though no big key.
That's true. So we're probably not... Either the big key's in here or probably not...
What?
You know.
Wait, did Flip not grab the Master Sword? That's... Oh, and now he's bomb jumping and having a bit of time setting it up.
Yeah, my guess is that Flip is probably going to take this into Hera and finish it. If he's doing it in this direction, then he's probably going to grab the sword and go straight up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, unless there's something in Hera Basement or Hera Big Chest. This is just buying his teammates some time to take a look at that spoiler log and, you know, hopefully find that bow. Okay.
Or Flip, what are you doing?
He's going to get his hammer.
Yeah. I guess this way he avoids the dead rocks.
Well, this is the only way to the hammer because you need the hammer.
Well, no, I mean he stayed in the Dark World to that.
Oh, yes.
Relkin going up the Bowlock side, which means he's trying to conserve one of his 4 small keys.
Or there's just something bow-locked. We'll see which it is. There's another pod small and the hammer for Flip Heel.
Okay, heart container's something.
Oh yeah.
Bit of a hike to get there unless there's something more necessary in this chest. Oh, Samaria, that would do it.
Yeah, I would say that's more necessary.
So what do you know? Pendant Pod has progression in it. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, pod sometimes has a tendency to be very loaded. Well,
Fire Rod.
very loaded.
And looks like Flip is doing the same thing, albeit with 1 fewer small key.
I mean, is it time that we start talking about go mode? Because right now I'm seeing Ice Rod and Bombos.
Oh yeah, we don't need flippers necessarily.
Yeah, unless there's anything in Swamp, then you know, I forgot how quick these seats could be.
We do need a bunch of keys though, as we get silvers in Rupee Basement. And there's the Bombos you were talking about.
Oh boy. So this
what
might
is
be
that? 4 major items we've already just gotten out of pod, and Relkin's still in here.
Oh man. Yeah, that's definitely something that we need to ask the runners is, wow, okay. It's gonna be...
And Relkin, having gotten the boots, is still in pod.
This has got to be big key chest, right? Like, what else is there?
Yeah, I mean, why else would he have gotten so many keys?
Now, notably, Flip Heel has 1 less key.
Right. And Flip did not go up the right side either.
Well, Flip has no bow yet, although there is
right.
There is
he has a potion. He can always do that, but...
It's not that big of a deal to do it in this order, I would say, but...
Okay, so Relkin grabbed a second TR small. We will need at least 3 of them, but there are 4 out there, so could be that Purdy Wong has found the other 2 and decided that would be easier. I don't know.
Okay. You know, I trust that. It also feels like, at this point, Pgog is going to have a silvers advantage, because maybe the intentional... maybe it was intentional...
What do you mean? Flip's about to grab silvers.
Flip doesn't have his bow out of Skullwoods.
Oh, right. Yeah, I don't know if you go for that at this point.
Meanwhile, on Relkin's side, straight in Ice Palace. This is definitely one of those dungeons personally, I would like to have the blue mail for, but Relkin is also much better than I am. But still dangerous, for sure. But it definitely seems like the natural progression after you find your, your two sources of getting into ice plus your Samaria.
So, pardon the oof, but I just looked at the remaining TR smalls. There's a TR small on left side of Pendant Swamp, so we need this small from Pod Big Key chest.
No.
And Purdy Wong needs to realize that.
That is unfortunate.
Because I don't think we're going to left side Swamp. And the other two pod smalls aren't in great places, so Flip needs to do the digging game. Ooh, tempered here in ice.
Ice is proving to be another very loaded dungeon. We've already seen our big key to GT in the big key chest. And now a tempered sword to make the rest of the game easier. Alright, Pgog going in to finish their first dungeon. Let's see.
That is one edge that Don't Forget to Track Us has. They do have a boss down. Imagine doing Cold Stare with, Tempered Sword and Fire Rod like the game intends, and yeah, that was an impressive fight.
It was, those hits on all the puffs was very good.
Flip? What? Oh, does he not have a key? He doesn't have a key, so... no, but he did grab a key. So what was he doing? Why did he just...
Oh, maybe he forgot... Did he forget to flip the switch?
Oh, yeah, that's probably it. That's unfortunate. That's gonna eat up some time that he can't afford to be eating up.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, now he's turning around to go hit the switch. That's a good idea when you don't have any extra keys or the big key.
Yeah. And I believe we've already seen this Hyrule Castle play from Flip Heel.
Yeah, this was to get Thieves Big.
Okay. So, Relkin able to do this with boots, which is a little bit faster. However, is going to have to double dip that Thieves Town. See how that pays off.
Yeah, might have given Don't Forget to Track Us a bit of an edge, except for that misplay in ice.
Yeah, and there's still the TR small and pod looming.
Right. And as I say, I think we're gonna have to go to the dig game to get that pod small for it.
Yeah, I think the only thing I can think of is, like, if there was something on Helmasaur that would require them to come back to pod anyway, or on the green pendant, then that...
Yeah, I mean, on the one hand, it's easy enough to go back to pod when you have to beat Eastern anyway, as our tracker Iker is reminding us in chat, but it does mean doing the hedge maze an extra time. Ooh, and Flip Heel. Oh, no! I think he took a fairy. No, he did not take a fairy. He got the bug net, I thought he had gotten a fair... That is really unfortunate.
That's going to be tough to recover from.
Yeah, the bug net's in blind cell, and I remember him picking it up, and I thought he had scooped up the fairy somewhere along the way, but I guess not.
No, looks like Flip is opting to refill his magic.
And also, this would get us to the right place for getting that next pod small that we need, but
Looks like this is silvers instead.
also a good thing to have, but yeah, cold stare death is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's... I think it was... You could recover from the pod key. You could call that a mishap, maybe. Oh, okay, hold on.
Oh.
Flip
Flip going to... No, he's just stealing the... No, he's going to the back of Skull Woods here.
Okay. No, this is something that Relkin was not able to do because they came here without that fire rod.
Oh! Sorry, I just looked at the spoiler log. We're close enough to Mothula that I won't spoil it, but we definitely need to be back here.
Okay. I mean, I don't mind if you spoil it.
Well, I feel like this close in, and Relkin also getting the bug net to have as a safety.
We'll see if they ever use it. Alright, Flip Heel going into this boss fight with 3 hearts. Let's see if Moth cooperates.
Moth just hugging all those spikes.
Yeah, unfortunately.
There we go.
Looks like we got a big key to TR.
Yeah, we absolutely needed that. And at this point, you know, Flip grabs the pendant to get the health and magic refill.
Yep, and we have Relkin finishing their second dungeon as well. So Pgog is pulling into the head, pulling into the lead with 2 crystals.
So of course, Relkin will need to go finish Skull Woods at some point to get that big key.
That is true.
Oh, interesting. Flip is not going out via getting silvers. I'm a little bit surprised since he needed to be there anyway that he didn't pick up silvers.
Yeah, the other bow continues to elude. Okay, now it looks like he's going back in for him?
I don't know. I have a hard time believing this would be faster than just, you know, walking out of Skull Woods in the light world.
But it is the play, and just as you mentioned, we see Relkin going back into the back of Skull Woods to get that TR big as well.
But now Flip had to save and quit, which means he can't go down to Dig Game to get that next pod small that he needs.
That's true. I don't remember where we found that Eastern big key.
Ice.
Ice palette? Oh wow, ice. Loaded.
Yeah, so our other 2 pod smalls that we haven't seen yet are in Pyramid Fairy and Mire. So I don't know, maybe we're now in the Desert Mire area. Maybe Flip's gonna get the pod small out of here.
Could be. Relkin also finishing with 1 heart.
And he's not waiting around for that pendant drop. Okay, to burn another nice safety.
Good safety. Potentially opens up Spike Cave Force as well. There's the Ice Rod.
Yeah, so that's why we needed the Desert Small. So that's item go mode, we just need more keys.
We're missing Desert Big. We're missing Mire Big.
And I guess that's it.
And then small keys, of course. I guess just one additional TR key. This looks like it's the dig game play.
Yeah. Yeah, even, you know, Ice Palace death aside, I'm not super keen about the routing we've been seeing from Don't Forget to Track Us lately. I really liked the single dip of Thieves Town earlier and was wondering about Pgog's double dip there.
Yeah, but you know, the beginning is always the toughest part for the pilots. So it's easy to see them making those kind of routing errors. 10 minutes into a seed when they're looking at it live.
And here's the TR play from Relkin.
So if we're seeing TR before we're seeing the rest of it, that must mean that our big keys are in here, right?
I would say so. No one likes to do TR any earlier than they have to.
It's true. It is worth noting our runner's still on 5 hearts blue mail. And Relkin passing up the opportunity to get that a nice little bonk fairy there. Uh-oh, dodge the bird.
You, just in time. So, Relkin into TR, notably with only 2 smalls.
There must be one on the way.
Right. I mean, we didn't find a pod small in pod, and that's so unusual that there has to be a TR small in TR to compensate.
I like that logic. Alright, we got more divergence. Flipheel going to wrap up Eastern Palace while Relkin takes care of Turtle Rock.
Ooh, Buttersword. That's interesting to go up there for just Buttersword and Piece of Heart refill. I wouldn't be surprised if Flip skips that.
Yeah, and I think one of the nice things about Pilot Spoiler is that the race is live, and the trackers and runners are allowed to watch the restream or their opponent's stream. So that was probably a safety that was taken after seeing where the runners are in this race.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Will's in here, because we're 32 minutes into a seed. We're only a couple items from Go mode, a couple keys from Go mode. At this point, the pilot's work is basically done.
Yeah, we did get that Desert Pig in the front. So yeah, Will probably knows they have a buffer because of that Ice Palace death, so he's probably trying to route in some safeties.
And it is particularly nice for this dungeon in particular, because it makes a zero cycle Trinex much more attainable.
Yeah. And I'll just spoil it now. Mire Big is on Landmo, so that's why we had to do this before Mire.
Gotcha.
And while there is a pod small in Mire, if we'd gone for that, then we'd be double dipping Mire. So you really needed to go for the dig game pod small.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be doing that Mire 2 twice. Even though it looks really cool when it's optimized, it still does eat up a little bit of time just to get into that dungeon.
And Flipeel gonna join Relkin on the mountain here. So we are on our way to a TR small on Laser Bridge because, of course, there's a TR small on Laser Bridge.
Yeah, it's got to be.
And Relkin grabbing another heart container. And there's our small key. So yes, Worf, do you feel a bit better about 7 hearts, Blue Mail?
Yeah, I feel much better about that. This is a very comfy cannon fight, especially given the you have a safety if you need it in Burna, and you have a gold sword, so that's a free 1-on-1.
And
Not that
chat asking about the MSU. I believe this is F-Zero.
There's that zero. I was gonna say there's that zero cycle Trinex that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Some nice backdoor strats there.
Super fast Trinex fight.
Oh yeah.
And indeed, Flip is skipping the butter sword.
Yeah, that's one of those skips. It's it's definitely costing more time. In particular, if you're confident in your 1-on-1 cannon, which I trust Flip completely to be. But yeah, it's one of those nice safety items you can't afford when you know that you're behind. Ooh, stay away from that door, Flip.
Yeah, that would be really bad. He is getting bodied by those anti-fairies.
Yeah, it's not, 3 hearts is not really comfortable for TR with all the rollers and the pokies.
Powder's in Hookshot Cave. We could have detoured there. Probably a bit more time than you want to take when you're this far behind, though.
Yeah, I could potentially see that from Pgog's side, considering the lead that they have. But given the skill of all these runners, it's powder is just a it's a nice to have. If it's next to a chest I'm picking up, I'll grab it. But otherwise, I'm skipping it. I never realized that Don't Forget to Track Us did not have their lamp.
Yeah, they never popped into Hype Cave. Interesting call. I mean, it is nice to have for Meyer Basement.
Yeah, I can definitely see them making a trip for that. Just because, it's not easy to do Meyer Basement without a lamp with such little health, but also doing Spooky is difficult. I think it's still worth to grab.
Speaking of little health, notice that Flip Heel skipped that heart container even on Laser Bridge.
Yeah, this is Flip just going fast, having to call the corners because even if they're not looking at the restream, probably not feeling great about that death.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see where they would have been once Relkin finishes Eastern, which I'm sure he'll do after Meyer, because then Flip will be doing Desert and Meyer. And so we can at least see how close this would have been, but for the Ice Palace death.
Yeah, Flip also getting a nice Trinex. Not quite the zero cycle, but that phase 2 was also excellent.
Yeah, if you can get the double spin hit, when the third neck comes out. Makes for a good phase 2.
Okay, so it looks like Flip's going to be doing Dark Mire Basement for us on 5 hearts.
Yeah. And Relkin has Spooky.
Well executed Spooky there. With silver arrows, this boss is going to be a piece of cake.
Given how quickly Relkin tore through Mire, I feel like even without the Ice Palace death, Pgog would still be ahead.
Yeah, I would say so as well. I mean, it's not just the Ice Palace death; it's also the pod key left at Dig Game that cost some time.
Right, and also the misrouting of Ice Palace with forgetting to hit the switch.
Yeah, and you know, Relkin's also really good. Relkin's,
Yeah.
I would say, like, probably one of the best spoiler, and you know,
I mean, he's like a top 20 NMG runner.
Yeah.
Flip's NMG time has really been getting up there, but he's still, I think, about a minute behind Relkin.
Yeah, I will say though, going into this race, I did still think, like, I thought it would come down more to the pilots than the runners, because I think that I do have that much respect for Flip as a runner. And while I definitely give the edge to Relkin on execution, there's a reason that these two teams are in the semifinals right now.
Yeah. You know, Purdy Wong is obviously a very good pilot. He did have, you know, the foresight to let Flip single dip Thieves Town. Yeah, so Relkin already at the back of Eastern, and after that it's just go up to the mountain, do Hera, and...
Ooh,
wow, that was a heck of a red boomerang play. I guess that's why he got it.
Yeah. I mean, hey, if you pick it up, you gotta use it. That's the rule, right?
That was one of the swaggiest red boomerang moves I've seen in a while.
I think I've only seen that strat one time in a... I believe I've seen Ravis use that strat before, but it is really swag. I tried it one time, I failed, so it's not as easy as it looks, but it definitely looks really cool.
And there's our boomerang and crystal number 6 for Relkin.
And Flipil is going dark. Gets that switch room. And pulls... Okay, this is smart. Because I would say, like, 5 hearts into Dark Mire Basement, like, this is the part that would scare me. It's just this spike room always takes 1, maybe 2 hearts from me. Burna is a very smart way to get around that.
Yeah, but he does not have Spooky, so he is gonna have to go up here.
You know, which is fair. I think that, you know, given how he's navigated this dark basement, I still do think that it was the right call to skip that lamp.
Yeah, I guess it's an extra hike or an extra portal.
Yeah.
And of course, we do have the silvers for the Vidi fight, which makes them worth grabbing, given their location, even apart from Gammon.
So far, that gold sword has done not a whole lot of work outside of that 0 cycle Trinex.
So I'm looking up some safeties we didn't get. The cape was on Hobo.
I mean, without... I could see why they would skip that.
It seems more trouble than it's worth, especially when Burner's on your way.
Relkin remembering that there are 7 crystals.
When GT doesn't open, it reminds you pretty quickly.
Ooh, there's another safety for you. Yeah, I was thrown for a loop for a second too.
There was a race league just the other day where someone forgot tried to go into GT on 6 crystals.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think it was Open League, Psyduck Psychos versus Clown College.
Oh, they raced today, I believe.
Yeah, that was their second. Yesterday was their first.
Okay.
Yeah, that series is tied up at 1 apiece. Game 3 has not yet been scheduled. And of course, the winner of that series will get an automatic invite to Season 7 Invitational League.
Like Relkin's going to be heading inside GT in about 46 minutes. 45, 55? Okay. Too fast. And then we are probably going straight up.
Yeah. I think he's got enough safeties at this point. He didn't even detour to Hookshot Cave to get the powder.
This definitely sounds like Rainbow Road to me. Is this
I
Rainbow
don't know
Road?
the tracks well enough.
Oh, the double dash Rainbow Road. Thank you, chat. That's one thing I do love about MSUs in particular is the fact that we get a separate track for climbing GT that has the ability to be appropriately hyped. Oof. Gauntlet 1, 2, and 3 were screaming through, and if that skeleton didn't take an immediate turn, that would have been all 4 easy.
Since barring something really unforeseen, this is going to be the end of Don't Forget to Track Us this season. I was just looking back to see how far they've come in League. They've been around since Season 2.
Yeah.
And Season 3 they were in Open League. Season 4 they were in Invitational, but only went 5-9. Last season they went to the playoffs, but exited 1 round earlier, so this is by far their best season.
Yeah, it's been a good run for them so far.
They knocked out your mom's favorite rando team in last round. That was definitely an upset win by seed, of course. All of Infinity and Pgog's wins are upset wins by seed because somehow they were only 8-6 in the regular season.
Yeah, that's kind of insane. Like, it just goes to show you the strength of this league, right? Like, there are plenty of names, on teams that, like, you just think about a lot of runners who aren't here who are eliminated, and yeah, it just, like, the strength of the community as a whole is just skyrocketed lately.
And at the conference finals here, we're watching the 4 seed against the 7 seed, which means 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 have all been knocked out.
Yep.
as opposed to in the other conference where it's the 1 seed against the 2 seed.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Speaking of which, how's the other conference looking?
So that is Potato Pouch has a 1-game lead over the Last Locationeers, and their second game will be played tomorrow.
Oh, it's ooh. That looked like a pretty friendly Aga pattern.
And given the seeding gap, whoever comes out of that matchup will be the higher seed in the finals, and the winner of this will be the lower seed in the finals.
Okay. While Relkin calls for the flute, calls for the bird, we're going to see Flip entering GT in just a moment.
So basically, between the Ice Palace death and differences in routing and execution, the climb behind. Honestly, that's not bad with the Ice Palace death.
Yeah. I believe I did say 45-50 or 45-55 is when Relkin entered GT. So like 4 minutes and 50 seconds behind is Flip Heel.
Yeah. We should also note that Relkin as a runner has some insane times on Pilot Spoiler that I think Will was piloting him this week of the regular season too, and they got just over 47 minutes. And this is looking to be like about 52 minutes.
Yeah, and I believe Relkin and that was interesting. Red Mimic just walked around with a silver arrow stuck in him without dying. But I believe Will has been piloting for Relkin and Humbug for their last couple seasons. Whereas Don't Forget to Track Us as I believe PRD has been tracking, but the runner has changed. It was Ike your last series against your mom's favorite rando team. But not quite the same continuity.
And this should do it. Yep, get your GGs in chat for Relkin. Thanks to all those Ganon warps, just over 52 minutes.
And that is GG's for To Infinity and Pgog. They will be representing the Light World Conference in the finals of League this year.
And just because of the upcoming holidays, that won't begin until the new year. And it looks like Flip wants to finish this out. Makes sense. You know, your last match of the season.
You're already halfway up. There's not a whole lot of time left in this seed anyway.
And you have silvers. Like, if you're not doing something as powerful as Tempered Silver's Ganon, I could see not wanting to finish it out. And we are joined by Relkin and Will WC. GG's, guys.
GG's.
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 I don't know how much you were watching your opponents. I know I saw in the race room you knew about the Cold Stare death, but that dig game Pod Small Key wound up being a pretty important play.
Well, it was one of those things where it was like, I knew how much stuff there was in Pod, even with it being a pendant, and I just wanted to grab as many keys as we could. We ended up actually grabbing, I think, one extra, and that
I think you needed all of them.
Technically you didn't need 4. You could have gone by with 3, but you would have had to gone a long way twice.
Right. Yeah. And I had I think I had only grabbed 4 because I had a misconception that the dark basement items were actually like the dark maze items. So
Oh.
that ended up working out well that we had that 4th key, because I was still trying to figure out the small key route while we were in pod on just like how we were getting everything. And thankfully Relkin helped me help talk me through it as well.
Oh, also, thinking even earlier, going to Saha's closet right off the bat, Will, did you see what was there, or was that just kind of a lucky play by Relkin since there were bombs right out of the gate?
Yep. I mean, we could both speak for that, honestly, but yeah, that's just our opener. I start Sank, then Link's house immediately after, so I get both items and just, not miss stuff. And then so, yeah, the bombs and Sank let us get the flute immediately.
Yeah, the very first 2 things I do once I have clicked and downloaded and actually opened the text file are Control F for Ocarina and then Control F for S Boots.
S Boots, yeah.
Yep.
S Boots.
Oh, so that you don't get like the pseudo boot entry at the bottom.
Yeah, I don't want pseudo boots. I want Pegasus boots. But yeah, so anytime that there's like a free flute or boot sitting out there and we have the means to go get it, I will get it before we go do our standard CAC opener. And the fact that we got, that was just worked out real nicely that we could go get glove and flute and moon pearl before we had even basically done anything else at all in terms of trying to figure out a route. That worked out really nicely in that we got those items plus like a couple of minutes for me to start planning things out beyond that. And
I want to see with Flip on Ganon now, how many warps was this? That felt like it was going on forever.
Yeah.
It was an odd number because he ended up on the top. I know that. So, take your pick. 5, 7, 9, however many it was.
Yeah, it looked like 5. And then like some 3 or 4s on some of the others.
Yeah, it wasn't friendly.
Oh, you were just talking about on one single part of Phase 3.
Oh yeah, no, it was the second one that seemed really interminable, and that alone was like 5 or 6 right there.
Okay, yeah, the total number of warps was odd, so maybe like 9, 11, 13, who knows?
15 probably. Anyway, get your GGs in for. Don't forget to track us here. Finishing this out.
That was a nice Ganon from Flip Heel, getting that triple.
And that's 57:05, so just under 5 minutes difference.
GG's.
And I think a cold stare death is about 3.5 minutes.
It depends, but yeah, it's not a fast one. What's funny is that we'll talk about it in a minute here, but I ran a practice race today with Humbug, and cold stare was the thing that bit us. So
I was actually watching that. I forgot about that though.
Yeah.
So you got it out of your system.
Yeah, you've already taken your licks for the day.
Okay, here's Flip. And here's Birdie Wong. GG, guys.
GG's.
GG's.
GG.
Fast one, huh?
Yeah, GG's, guys.
Yeah, I have to say, going to the early stuff, I liked you guys planning with Back of Escape and Hyrule Castle to only have to single dip thieves. Purdy Wong, you're muted, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say. I think we got outplayed on both fronts, right? I made a piloting mistake, and Flipio took an unfortunate death. So the better team won here.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. In Ice, I'm like, oh no, I forgot to hit the switch. I've thrown already. Great. Then I died to Cold Stare because I missed a Fire Rod shot and it went off the rails. And I'm like, oh well, I've definitely thrown. And then PRD's like, well, yeah, even if you did all that, I messed up as well. So, all right.
Oh, the pod key.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it goes like that. That's the nature of spoiler, whether it's solo spoiler or pilot, is that
But, yeah,
one little
other than
thing
that,
can throw it all
no
off.
really crazy stuff you had to do. I feel like I have the worst luck in pilot or any form of spoiler on restream. Now died in both the league races. I mean, I won the other one, but still, dying on bosses feels really bad. And then, did I do it again? Oh no, I've done it again. Damn it. No.
Okay, I think it's understandable to make that mistake.
I'm sorry, Will.
I'm a very mutable person. For anyone who doesn't have context on what we're talking about, I think this is now the second post-race interview in a row where Flipheel has had someone else in the call muted through Discord settings. Oh, third, according to iCare. Thank you.
The few races I've ever tracked, like I listen to the restream, but not like the in-chat, so I mute everyone. Yeah, and then I don't see anybody. I am so sorry.
Yeah, no, to be fair, it's perfectly understandable to want to have me muted.
It's because it happened prior that we knew what was going on. As soon as you started talking over Will, it's like, oh, he needs
I was trying to figure out what was going on.
All right, continue, please.
Yeah, I mean, the cold stairs thing, I just mentioned that before y'all joined on to the call, but I did a practice race with Humbug earlier this afternoon, and we took a cold stair death in that one that really set us back from the pack on that one. And so, seeing that happen again today, it felt no better being on the other side of it, I can assure you. That's just it's such a punishing thing for what is usually a small mistake, and that's one of the kind of lousier parts of racingless mode is sometimes that happens and things fall apart. But y'all are a heck of a team too, and I'm glad we got to race y'all again this year. Maybe we can make it. Maybe we can make it 3 years running next year.
We'll have to continue the theme, though. We swept you the first year. You guys swept us this year. We'll have to keep going back and forth.
I was about to say maybe both of you can win a game in the same series one of these years.
Yeah. Why don't we try a game 3 or a game 5 or whatever we end up with next year? Why don't we try splitting something a little bit? Down the middle.
Why don't we just tie 5 times in a row and really make it a headache for everyone?
Oh boy.
But yeah, going into this, we knew it was going to be an uphill battle. You guys were looking really solid. It's like we'd love to play AD, but we were just like, yeah, we're not picking AD into Humbug Brelkin. Sorry, it's just not happening. So yeah,
just like we weren't ever gonna think about doing Randomizer against you guys.
Yeah, I think Werfjig had called it a 100% prediction on Randomizer if we had a game 3 when I was chatting with him earlier.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask, not to. I will bring up this. So you had Flipeel, you and Iker had lost all of your picks, all of your entrance picks so far in the playoffs. Was there any consideration to opening with an Randomizer seed?
I don't know. Honestly, even though we kept losing, we felt pretty good. And for what it's worth, I think we played it really well. Just like I said, they made the decision to not get the fire rod, which was just huge, right? We were talking about it afterwards. It's 4 or 5 minutes of clearing the whole game instead of getting it. It's just they're really strong, and there's really no way to come back from that.
I'd forgotten about
how we play.
That was a really big brain play on Pgog's part there.
But I don't know. We just figured we'd have a better shot, and then game 3, if it comes to Randomizer, and so be it.
I feel like Randomizer as the decider is kind of the ultimate in drama, at least when it comes to matching things up and putting teams on an even playing field.
Yeah, I'm a little sad we don't get to see it.
Then Chat spends the entire race hoping for an ice Trinex.
Gosh. Well, that would have been Will and Humbug's problem, not mine. Sorry, Flip, I just talked over you. What were you going to say?
No, I was just making a reference to that awesome 3-heart fighter sword cold stare everyone was raving about.
Oh my goodness.
Right. Oh.
Oh yeah, on Andy's broadcast last night.
Well, anyone and everyone, like, there are a bunch of
Right.
people trying to stream attempts, trying to get it done, and
Well, I think that's about to do it for us. GG's flipping Pretty Wong and Iker on a really great season, honestly. And of course, Relkin and Will, we will see you in the finals.
Thank you.
thank you.
Lower seed, though, since you worked your way up as a 7th seed.
We're used to it. We're used to it at this point.
Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes.
I mean, you've been winning as the lower seed all the way up so far. What's one more series, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Up until this match, or this series, we were, I think, like 5 for 6 or something, winning all of our opponents' picks because can't win our own. So you guys just got to do the same thing.
Dang, look at that difference in collection rate. That's a pretty big gap,
wow.
spoiler. Yeah.
That was Relkin getting all the safeties, knowing that Pgog had a lead.
And the bonus 2 items at a hype cave that I forgot to tell him to skip.
Well, but we were all glowing about we finally got to use that red boomerang for something, which I am very proud of.
Yeah,
Yeah, in the back
Relkin
of
was real
Eastern.
proud of that strat too.
Yep. I had seen Jem do it, and then he said he got it from Ravis, and I had seen a different red boom strat from Ravis in like Hera, where you like do this hook shot thing where you like hook the pegs after throwing the boomerang, and it'll hit the switch, but your hook will still take you to the pegs position, so you'll just gain some movement frame. That's super wild, and so Ravis with pioneering this rando tech with quick swap.
Yes. Need more cool tech, please.
Well, I think that's it, but we do have more rando coming up pretty soon. A couple of exciting matches tomorrow. 4 p.m. tomorrow, the Dark World Conference Finals. Last Location Years with Zen Arcane piloted by Scottish Brave and Potato Pouch with Pam piloted by Magno. And Potato Pouch is up 1-0, so
Yeah,
Pgoggers, you guys could know your opponent by this time tomorrow.
Could, or there could be some more drama. Who knows?
Always possible. And in the Open League, we have Underachievers versus Ed Was Supposed to Carry Us, again playing for a spot in the Invitational League next season. And I think that's at 7:10. Oh, right. That's also at 7 because it's also a pilot spoiler race. Everything's a pilot spoiler race, right?
Oh boy.
And that will be on SpeedGaming 3. So definitely keep an eye on those schedules. Tune in for those matches tomorrow. And of course, follow the runners and the pilots. GG's again to all of them. Thanks to
I was gonna say
doing tracking. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say shout outs to Ike for tracking for us.
Yeah, and thanks for joining me on this, Worf. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had a great time. Thanks for bringing me to the booth.
Yeah, your typical thing. Thanks, guys, for providing commentary and and thank you for tracking Iker. And thanks to SG for the restream.
And
I echo those sentiments, and good luck, guys, in the finals. Look forward to watch.
Yeah,
Thanks, bud.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Congratulations on a great season. Don't forget to track us, and congratulations on making it to the finals for To Infinity Pgog.
And thank you all for watching, and we hope to see you at the matches tomorrow.